On to Celtic. They had an uncharacteristic draw against Dundee United on the weekend. Will Brendan Rodgers use that to put some pressure on the board over a need for January transfer funds? Also dealing with a couple of injuries now that have kind of popped up over the last week or so. Nicholas Kuhn obviously being one of those big ones to have picked up an injury.
Yeah, look, I don't think Brendan will be saying anything because he doesn't have to. I think it's self-evident that they're going to need to strengthen and freshen up the squad. His biggest stick will be the European adventure that they're going on right now, and that the squad's got to be strengthened for that. So I think that's where the noises will be put out in the media in Glasgow. I think that's where they're looking to strengthen. Look, Celtic are still romping away with the league at the moment, and it's just Europe is their main focus, and that's where Brendan's got to strengthen. And you know by now they'll have selected targets that they've already thought about. So I don't think there'll be any last minute decisions. These sort of things will have been thought about for the last 3 months.
And this is very much uncharted territory, right? We're so used to the Champions League group stage being over by the January transfer window and then the knockout rounds picking up after the January transfer window. How does a team like Celtic balance this? They're right on the edge of getting into the next round and potentially earning millions more and falling out and not being in the Champions League again until next year. How does a board and Brendan Rodgers balance all this in terms of who they may spend on?
Well, Celtic have got a pretty enviable position in the sense that they've got money in the bank. So they're not actually gambling in that sense, of actually borrowing money, etc., to try and make the gamble, to try and go further in Europe. They've got the money in the bank. They can make a very calculated decision as to what the revenue potential is if they were to win a couple of games in the Champions League. So it's a measured gamble, but not so risky as I would suggest normally. So I think that the board's got to take a bold decision, try and support Brendan, and really try once and for all to really go further back in Europe again, and get it going. And I think he deserves to be backed. I think their start in Europe was pretty good. So I think they should spend. And I will say to the Celtic board, yes, I think you should be investing part of that money in the bank and putting it into the squad.
They've just extended front of shirt sponsorship with DafaBet for 3 more years. Is this a big boost for the club? And remind us, is that no more betting sponsorship? That's just in England?
That's right. Scotland's exempt from that particular rule. I don't think it'll be a big increase, but again, there may well be European bonuses, and Celtic are still doing okay in European football right now. So I'd imagine that's where any upside could be. Obviously, it's been a decent relationship, so they've decided to go for it. But I would have hoped, Celtic might have had more ambition and would have been able to market themselves a little bit better in terms of getting another major sponsor in. So I'm a little bit disappointed. But then again, there could be break clauses. There could be lots of things we don't know about. But nevertheless, they've got a shirt sponsor, which is one thing ticked off the list. So at least they've got a base to work from.